Is everybody ready? Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right. Have you ever seen a guy driving a convertible with his head sticking above the windshield like an idiot? What do you think happens if he flips that thing? Exactly what you think happens. So today we're gonna try to preserve my beautiful melon. We're gonna install a quality roll bar in the Money Pit Miata, and we've got this $65 roll bar in this Miata. We're gonna talk about the differences between the two, and then for good measure, we're gonna drop the $65 roll bar on its head and see how it holds up, or probably doesn't. Oh God. I'm Zach and this is Money Pit. Let's see what happens. Big thanks to CSR2 for sponsoring this week's episode of Money Pit. You guys know I love road trips. I've driven this American-made monster across the country and I loved it. Unfortunately, this summer, I'm not gonna be taking too many road trips. But thanks to CSR2 and their limited time American road trip event, I'm able to virtually take a road trip in some of the dopest cars out there. CSR2 is awesome because it delivers hyper-real drag racing to the palms of your hands. You can drag race against people around the world and even customize your cars. And you guys know I love customizing some cars. The American road trip event being offered this summer is a celebration of American car culture from coast to coast, and it only takes place until September 31st. So hurry up, click the link in the description, and go download CSR2. It's free, and who knows, maybe you'll get to race against me. I'll see you guys on the track. Hello, I am Monique Pitt.
You think that cheap one's gonna work for us?
I sure don't. I mean, bummer. Dang, you need to lose some weight. So before we show you what happens if you find yourself upside down with a cheap roll bar, let's talk about what makes a good roll bar that I'm willing to install into a car that I drive every day. We've got these two roll bars here. This one costs about $65. I got it on eBay, and we're gonna be installing it into the Crusher Miata that's in the backyard. This one I got from Zarek Fabrication, and it cost about $600, and this is clearly the one I'm gonna be installing in our beloved Money Pit Miata. First off, you shouldn't be able to pick up a roll bar that easily. There's just not much material here. And the material that it is made out of, it says on the website, is a 304 stainless, which isn't really ideal for a roll bar, but I guess it could be okay if it was thick enough. So I bet you I can bend this whole thing.
Don't ruin it.
So this is an example of a poor bolt-in design. So the real roll bar, oh God, it's so much heavier. That's how you know. There's a lot more material here. So this is made out of a lot stronger material. It's a 1 3/4 inch heat-treated DOM. DOM stands for drawn over mandrel. It's a really uniform form of tubing. So it starts from a flat sheet of metal at whatever thickness you want the wall to be on your tube, and then it's drawn over a mandrel, forced into a tube shape, and the seam is welded up. This is the material you want your bar to be made out of. And look at these mounting feet. These are some fat, thick plates that use big, fat, thick, strong grade 8 hardware. We'll drill some holes, and then this will sandwich the chassis in between the roll bar, and you just clamp that thing down at all 4 pads here. So we've got the right material, but it's not just about material. It's also about the way the thing's designed. You see this bar right here? This is what we call triangulation, and this helps strengthen this overall structure. Without this bar, this kind of rectangle area wouldn't be as strong as it is, but with this, it's very strong. If you look at the thing from a profile, you can see that when it's mounted into the car, it'll create kind of a triangle. So this gives you a lot more strength in terms of front to back. You see what I'm talking about here? This thing's just gonna fold over. If you're sliding on this thing, I don't think it's gonna move. I think it's gonna just do its job. And that's why I trust it, and that's why I'm gonna put it in the Money Pit Miata. Look at it. I mean, think about it. Touch it, feel it. That's gotta be stronger. Now, let's go install it, see how well that goes. I lost the keys? I don't know. All right, so to get started on the install of the real roll bar on the Money Pit Miata, the first thing I'm gonna have to do is take these seats out, then we'll take this bar out, get this carpet and interior bits out of the way, and then we'll be down to what we need to be down to. We're gonna have to cut some metal today, we're gonna have to cut some plastic, which means it's gonna be a fun day. If you're gonna do a roll bar and you're gonna do seats, it's probably a good idea to always do the roll bar first, because the roll bar can create some fitment issues with seats. So it would suck to buy a set of seats and install them just to find out that they don't work with your roll bar. So do the roll bar first, and then you can kind of figure out what seats will work before buying them, hopefully. Well, that was easy. So the first thing we get to cut today is the seat belts. We got to free them of their loops so that we can install these seat belt retainers that came with the roll bar. Zip, zip.
I'm helping.
Got our plastic popper out, and we're gonna try to pop our plastic without breaking any of it. Yeah, we'll see. All right, so this thing I'm pretty sure is gonna need cut in half, kind of somewhere right in here so it fits with the new bar. So we'll do that later. Okay, so right up here, in here is where we're gonna have to trim. So we might need to do that with the soft top kind of open. But before we get there, I'm gonna get all of this stuff out of the way. These need to be popped off of this wall here so the roll bar can actually slide between the chassis and these wires and cables. All right, now with all these wires out of the way, we're gonna lift the soft top so I should be able to get a little bit more room under the carpet and mark out the areas that I need to trim. We're gonna cut some stuff. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I don't wanna spray paint in there because I'd have to tape a bunch of stuff off because I would spray paint everywhere. Because I don't really care how it looks, I just want it to be protected. I'm just gonna spray some black spray paint, nice and heavy onto the sponge so it's saturated, and then I'll just dab it on the bare metal. Enough to get it coated, once, maybe twice, and that should be good enough. All right, that's the last dab. Now, while that dries, I'm gonna take out the lower seatbelt bolt because that's part of the mounting system for the bar. Then once we get that out and that's dry, we'll slide the bar in, see how it fits. You wanna help? No, I'm just kidding, that was just for the shot. I'll do it myself. I'll do it by myself.
It sounded expensive.
If only there was someone here that could help me. I got it. Let me suffer. All right, so the bar is in. We've got these little seatbelt bolts in, so it's kind of held in place and it's exactly where it's gonna be for its final position. So now all we gotta do is drill out all these holes in the mounting plates through the chassis and then sandwich everything up with the hardware. But that's gonna be the tricky part. I'm gonna jack the car up, pop off the rear wheels so we can see in the wheel well, see what we're doing. Right, so the holes on this upper mounting point are pretty hard to get to. So you can go in with a little die grinder or with kind of a long drill bit. I'm going with the long drill bit method and we'll see how it goes. I think it's gonna work out, but one of these holes is tougher than the rest. So hopefully I'll be able to get these front two and then from those two understand where the third one is and do it from below. Yeah, it went straight through. Looks like we're gonna be just fine. Got a hole right there, ready for a bolt. So there was a hole already here from a grommet and it kind of overlaps this third and hard to get to hole. I can see it, which is sweet. All right, we got the rear mounting pads all mounted up. All the holes are holed and all the bolts are bolted. So now all we gotta do is what seems like the easy part and finish up these front pads. Drill those holes, nuts and bolts, and that's it. I mean, we got to put everything back together. We got to trim the interior pieces. We got to do all that kind of stuff. But the bar is almost totally installed. So let's make some more holes. The cage is in. Damn it, it's not a cage. The bar is in. The roll bar is in and feels super sturdy. I mean, this thing is part of the chassis now. It might as well be rolled in. Rolled it in? I don't think that's a word. Okay, so with the bar in, now it's time to head back the other way and put things back together. So I'm gonna put the wheels back on, get this thing back on the ground, and then we're gonna work on the interior. I know we're gonna have to trim some interior pieces, but I don't think it's gonna be a big deal. Now, the fact is that we have put a metal structure closer to my head, which is a little bit concerning for, you know, driving around not wearing a helmet. So I have to be considerate of that when I choose my driving position and try to keep my head as far from this as possible, but that is something to consider. I mean, you're putting metal closer to your head, so if you aren't okay with taking that risk, maybe don't do a roll bar. All right, that's one roll bar down. Let's go install the second one. I have a feeling it's gonna go a lot quicker. I just looked at the hardware pile and it's like 3 bolts. Here she is, the Miata. It's a huge piece of trash. And that's why I got it in my backyard, because I'm trash people. So yeah, we got this chassis for free and we're gonna smash it. It's already pretty smashed, but we're gonna smash it a little bit more. All to find out whether or not this thing would do anything if you found yourself upside down on top of it. I gotta say, I don't really think it's gonna do anything. And I just got the hardware pack out, and well, you just saw all the hardware we used to install the other one. This is all the hardware for this one. The good news is it looks like this is gonna be super easy to install. It uses 4 bolts and they line up with existing holes. So it's way easier to install than the other one, but to its detriment. Yo, but look at what this chassis came with. Like $4.27.
Did you just break it?
Almost, man. Well, I guess that's what you get. I mean, are you guys convinced yet? Is anybody still hanging on to this argument? Listen, my position on this whole thing is just bolstered. I knew this thing was gonna be trash, but it's almost worse than I expected. Look at that. Like, are you kidding me? Compare that to what we did in the real Miata. I mean, that's part of the chassis. You ain't gonna break that. You ain't gonna bend that. All right, so if me shaking and tugging on some roll bars hasn't convinced you, if talking about what makes a good roll bar and looking at these things hasn't convinced you, then you know there's only one thing left to do, and it's go take that turd of a Miata down to Forsberg's and drop it on its head. You know there's no chance that we're gonna miss an opportunity to grab a free Miata chassis, a $65 roll bar, and go dump the thing off a forklift. You know we're not missing that. Let's go do it. See what happens. We made it down here to Chris and Dylan's, the coolest dudes we know, and also coincidentally the only dudes we know with a forklift that can help us do this. We've got the trash Miata on the forklift, and once we get it upside down, we're gonna drop it on that $65 roll bar, and I think it's just gonna fold right over immediately. Safety first. All right, boys. How the hell are we gonna do this?
We're not quite sure.
Nice.
We haven't exactly figured that out yet.
Yeah,
I like that. I like
go
your
with
style.
the flow. We do have this forklift. We got some tires. So first we gotta get it on the roof. And since we have so much faith in that roll bar, we took it off so we don't scratch it.
Yeah, you don't want to wreck it. I mean, it's so nice.
Get this thing on its roof, lift it up, and then I heard you're going to be the brave soul to go under there and put it back in.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's your job.
Came up with a cool little pulley system.
I saw.
To add some engineering effect to it.
Nice. What revision is that? How many stupid ideas did you have before you got to that?
That's about 3rd revision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Then I trust the 3rd revision. I think we're good here.
Oh yeah.
All right. That should do it. I think we're ready to get this thing in the air. Drop it.
All right, so basically we got to figure out how to get this thing as stable as possible. So we set the extended forks on top of the roof so that we can kind of take some of the load off of the forklift. And then this is going to get attached to the bumper of my truck or the hitch on my truck. And then we're going to lift that car up. So hopefully it works, I guess.
Hell yeah. Hopefully we don't just pull this whole thing over.
Yeah, that's what we're worried about.
That is a possibility.
That is a possibility, but...
Oh boy. Hang on, hang on, hang on.
Stop.
We're moving the forklift. See it starting to pull? Yeah. Oh boy. Oh God.
Thought that might happen.
Oh God. Well, need to figure out how to get this thing upright, but
Yeah, with a forklift.
yeah, for real.
There you go.
Well, it seems like your roll bar did a pretty good job. Remember when I said things might go sideways? This is the sideways I meant.
So what's our recovery plan here?
Well, we got the neighbor's forklift over here, and we're gonna aim to keep that one upright. So we're gonna use it to pick this up. We're gonna tie Dylan's truck back to the forklift so that when we lift this one up, if we do, it doesn't just rock it over to the other side and flip and crush whatever's over there.
You ever seen a flip forklift?
Yeah. Right here.
Okay, we're not doing anything anymore. Good work all around.
Securing an anchor this time to the heaviest object that I have, which
To
is
the other
this.
heaviest object you have.
It hasn't even budged.
Yeah, this is the setup. All right, plan number 2 worked. The Miata is suspended and the forklift is upright, which is awesome. So it's time to get your final answers in. What do you think is gonna happen when we drop this $65 roll bar? I know what I think. And the only thing left to do is find out. So,
All right, want to do the honors?
all right, let's go see what happens. Is everybody ready? Everybody good? All right. That was sweet. And guess what? I can see that roll bar is smashed in. Ooh, and so's the windshield, I think. Dang. My boy, you're dead.
His foot is in his ear hole.
Oh my God, he's so flexible. Well, the roll bar bent forward and smacked my guy right in the back of the head, so that sucks. It also, the windshield bent in half, which kind of surprising.
That bracket bent the floor
Oh
up.
yeah.
Oh,
Like, this is a terrible design. Look at how it just pivoted.
I
like
know,
that.
it just built to bend, baby.
yeah, straight on the ground.
I mean, I'm honestly surprised that all 4 brackets are still intact.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's those 6 modes really holding them together.
Yeah, that's right.
I know, I'm not surprised at all by this, but the windshield, man,
Yeah. That thing didn't
just
take
bent
much.
right over.
Rock cage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
Cage your Miata, no matter what.
Yeah, seriously, now I want an A-pillar bar. Yeah, hey, thank you guys for coming up with a hilariously sketchy way to do this. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
It was sketchy to the max at first.
I love it.
Clearly.
Yep.
We went a little over
You
the
gotta
curve.
find your max sketchiness and dial it back. That's how
Yeah,
I
well, we
always
did that.
operate.
Certainly
Yeah.
did. We certainly did.
Uh-huh.
Good times, boys.
All right, so thank you guys so much for helping me with this. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more of these guys' ridiculous shenanigans, check out BlackOut on Gumout. We'll throw a link in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys next week. That's a short car.